The most common question that I usually get from trekkers is that where do I get water sources on a trek, and then how do I purify that water? Now this is a very valid concern that anyone will have, if you're planning to go on a trek on your own. In today's video, I'll be covering 3 to 4 basic practical approaches that you can do when you're going for a DIY trek. This is Suhas from Indiahikes and you're watching the DIY Trek series. So before I get into what you have to do, I'm going to cover the points on what you shouldn't do. Whenever you go for a trek, make sure that you don't drink or collect water from a stagnant water source. Always find water which is actually flowing. Now that is very important to keep in mind. And this is something you'll find in most of our treks in our country. So that shouldn't be a constraint that you should keep in mind. In places where you feel that you are not going to get water source, now these are all very dry places of a country where you might have an issue, then you should be well aware of that particular trek which you are going for. So it's very important that you keep in mind that flowing water is something that you need to collect. So there are different ways in terms of how you can find this flowing water, and those are the points that I'm going to cover. The first thing is always look out for water dripping between two rocks, or you'll see small places where the water is dripping. And this is what we actually exactly did when Nitesh and I had been on this Ranthambore trek in Kumaon region. We just kept a water bottle at a campsite. We saw small water, the small droplets of water actually between the two rocks, and we just kept a water bottle over there and you could see the water actually filling. Just give it about 15-20 minutes and you have really good clean water which you can use. The second thing that you can use, especially when I'm going for treks around Western Ghats or places around where it might be the rainy season or it's going to rain, then what I do is I make an en-catchment area. You can use your poncho or you can use even your umbrella if it is there. You can make a channel where you keep the water bottle and it gets filled. So that is something that you can do. If you're going for a winter trek, or if you're going towards higher altitude where you have snow, then again that is another thing that you can use. You can always use the snow, melt snow, and then you'll get water which you can use. And the fourth point, if I have to talk about, is the underground channel, because there are water sources which are flowing underneath, and if you're able to find that source and if you can make a small channel over there, you'll be able to collect the water. So these are the 4 ways on how you'll be able to collect water. And the next step is going to be about how do you purify that water. Now after you've collected it, how do you take it and make sure that you can purify it? The first thing that you can do is you can use a handkerchief or a small towel perhaps to make sure that whenever you're collecting that water, you keep it so that all the I would say the physical elements of it, the physical dirt or mud, it gets removed. The layer 1 is done. But it doesn't mean that your microorganisms or bacteria gets removed. They can still be there in the water source. So the best practical approach is making sure that you boil water. Now make sure that you have your gas canisters or burner. I know that it will use a bit of your resource in terms of the gas, but make sure that you boil the water because you don't want to get sick when you're actually trekking there. So boiling water is the best practical approach that you can think about when you're going for a DIY trek. The second thing is carrying chlorine tablets or sachets which you usually get in the medical stores. You can even order it online, and that has worked really wonders. Whenever I'm going for a DIY trek, I usually carry a couple of chlorine tablets which you can actually use it, and that helps me in purifying water. The third thing is you get purification water bottles also these days. You have something like a pani water bottle or live straw. Now there are n number of these options that you can select from, but these are something that have proved to be really useful. And these water bottles can be used even during your travel also. I'm going to a railway station, bus stand, I can just easily collect that water and drink right from that water bottle. So that is something that you can do. I also make sure that even in my medical kit I have a betadine. So betadine solution also works in terms of purification of water. So that is also something that you can try out. Now you'll find like hundreds of points that you might find, if you go through Man vs. Wild or different Survivor series, if you go through them, you will find a lot of points that they will mention. But when you're going for a trek, you need to be very practical. You need to see which ones can actually work when you're going for trekking. It is not just about surviving, it's about making sure that you collect the water and you're able to purify water when you're trekking. So that is very important to keep in mind. If you have any points or any tips that will help, everyone who's going for a trek, then I think, you can use the comments below and help everyone in terms of knowing how to collect or how to purify water. And if you want to get more updates about the trekking world, make sure that you always hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. You can always follow us on social media as well. You can, follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter to keep getting these updates. If you have any more questions with respect to how to go about and do a trek on your own, you can always write to me. You can send me an email at suhas@indiahikes.com and I'll be very happy to help you out. So this is Suhas from Indiahikes and you're watching the DIY Trek series.